All right, let's talk more about Saturday night. What a special night it was at Viejas Arena. And Steve Fisher, the former head coach of the Aztecs, I thought just did a terrific job with the entire ceremony with Kawhi's family. The jersey goes into the rafters for forever for Kawhi Leonard. And, Coach, again, we appreciate you hopping on with us. What a night it was. How was it from your perspective to see Kawhi, his family, all those that have been so special to him over the years, get to celebrate that here in San Diego?
It was truly a special evening. There's absolutely no question. And the atmosphere was electric. It's going to be that way when you're undefeated. We're 22-0 going into the game against a Utah State team picked to win the league. But it was more than that with Kawhi coming back and his family and all that went into it. And I don't know. I think everyone else should know that Matt Soria, one of our coaches on our staff, is responsible for all the nuts and bolts and the hard stuff to set that up. And I don't think anywhere in America where they've ever retired a jersey could have been any better than what we had with Kawhi that evening. And Matt had so much to do with that.
Coach, I just wonder in a moment like that and the whole experience Saturday, not only with the retiring jersey of Kawhi Leonard, but a stirring come from behind victory. Matt Mitchell, 24 points second half. The whole atmosphere at Viejas. Do you pause in that moment and think back to what it was like when you first came to San Diego State and where it is today?
I do. I do. And I have flashbacks where Angie, after the game, says she counted, and there were more auxiliary people than there were fans, band, cheerleaders, security guards, and now to see what it has become, it's with great pride that I think all of us have for San Diego State basketball. And when we came there, we talked about we wanted to have a program and not just a time where we had one season where we were good and then off the map, and we've got that. And I'm very proud of what everyone has done to allow it to happen. It doesn't happen everywhere. And even places where you're good, to have the atmosphere that we've been able to create with the help of our fans, it's second to none. It's really, really special.
How much of this is for you? Because I consider coaching such a giving profession. I mean, some of my greatest mentors were coaches. I look back on my high school football coach. We still have a relationship. I consider him almost a second father. That's how important he's been to my life. But how much is it for the coach? Like you go out there every single night these Aztecs are playing. How does that feed your soul?
I think you get into the profession with a love affair for the game. And, I was very fortunate. I had a 50-year career where never did I say, oh, I don't want to go to work today. And it truly didn't feel like work. Some days were hard, but I had a great appreciation for the opportunity that I had. And I loved what I did. And in college, you have to wear lots of hats. And if you don't embrace all of that, then you shouldn't be doing it. If you complain about going to the booster functions and have to speak here and do that, if you complain about the recruiting, then you're not doing a very good job at it. So I recognize that, and I said I'm fortunate. Many would do so much to be where we were. I am. Dutch is. It's a privilege, and you have to treat it that way. And I loved the relationship that we were able to have with our players. You made that reference, and it's everlasting. They come back, and you go to weddings, and you feel a part of their lives, and that's a very, very wonderful experience to have. And all that being said, if you don't win, you don't stay around too long. So, I mean, you got to be able to have a nice balance of getting good people and good kids, and be able to win to have longevity with those kinds of experiences.
Steve Fisher joining us right now on Xtra. Coach, again, back to Saturday night. Kawhi obviously is a very humble and quiet person. We know that nationally just from watching him in his time in the NBA. Of course, last year winning the championship with Toronto. But from your seat, how much pride does Kawhi have and his family have in the time he spent the 2 seasons he spent on the Mesa with you and your staff, and just his affiliation and association with San Diego State?
Kawhi knows what an impact he's had and continues to have on San Diego State basketball. He's immensely proud of that fact. And I made reference when people say San Diego State, the first name that comes to mind, or the first thing that most people say is Kawhi Leonard. And he's the ripple effect we're having right now with the success he's having. It's immense. He knows that, and he takes great pride in it. He was so excited about the jersey retirement, and it was neat to see. So it was a wonderful, wonderful event. Kawhi appreciated it and loved every part of it, as did his family.
Coach, I don't know if I ever asked you about meeting Brian Dutcher and what it was that he had that connected with you. I mean, it's been 30 years, over 30 years now, your connection with Brian Dutcher, and he has obviously done an incredible job to carry on your legacy at San Diego State. But what was it about Brian Dutcher that made the initial impression on you?
We were both assistants. Had been there for 6 or 7 years, and he came in. We were both assistants on Bill Frieder's staff at Michigan. And then our wives became friends, and our kids became friends. And it's just been, as you said, a 30-year growing, everlasting relationship and friendship. And I think when you have that, there's that trust that you have in one another, and you're unafraid to say in the confines of the staff meeting, I don't agree with that, and know that there will not be offense taken, and talk about those kinds of things. And Brian is the son of a coach. He's been around it his whole life, and I think he's got a personality that fits. And you want guys that aren't exactly alike. And we do a lot of things, and there are a lot of things that are similar, but he's his own man, and I think we were a good blend for one another for a long, long time. And very, very proud of what he's doing, and happy that we've had that kind of friendship and relationship, both on and off the court, for that 30-year period.
The one and done maybe falling by the wayside at some point. They may allow, again, players to come from high school hoops into the NBA. But there's a new, I don't want to call it an issue, but development in college basketball with the ease and accessibility of transfers. Of course, San Diego State has been led by some terrific transfer players this season, and potentially moving forward, this may be sort of the nouveau one and done. Getting a guy who's graduated and has 1 year of eligibility left, and let's bring him in here and turn out a great season. What are your thoughts on that protocol and that shifting in college basketball?
I would say in a perfect world, you would say you just assume kids go to a school, stay there, and spend their whole career at that school. That's not feasible anymore, and it's impractical. And for you to think it, you're crazy, because it's not going to happen. So what you try to do is find players that will fit both with the kinds of people that they are, and the needs that you have. And we've had great success, and this year is tremendous success with the 2 fifth-year seniors that we have. It's everywhere. It used to be, they say there's a bit of a stigma. Well, you get that because you can't recruit the best players. But now Duke looks for them. Carolina's got a couple. Michigan State's got them. Everybody has them. And if you get the right ones, you've got great experience. You've got fifth-year seniors who are older and more mature, been around the block. And I know you know this. You're seeing this now happen. It never happened, but it's happening now with great frequency in football, especially at the quarterback position. I just saw where the Stanford quarterback is leaving and going to Mississippi State, and the Clemson quarterback is leaving and going to Duke. So it's everywhere in every sport, and you probably have seen this too. What the Big Ten has proposed, and I don't like it, but I'm thinking it's not too far down the road, is a one-time transfer for anyone. You don't have to be a fifth-year senior, and you can go and play immediately at another school. So that will open another box that we'll have to get used to if and when it happens.
Steve Fisher joining us here on Extra. Coach, of course, the Aztecs 23-0. You have been with teams that have made deep, deep runs and won national championships before in college basketball. So how important is things like the seed? Everyone talks about, they could be a 1 seed here or a 2 seed there. Like, how important is the seeding and the location in terms of enhancing chances for a team to make a run in the NCAA tournament?
Everybody wants to be a high seed. It gives you greater opportunity, especially in, for sure, your first-round game. When you win a game, you're going to play good people, whether you're a 1 seed or a 12 seed. If you're in that second round, you're going to play a good basketball team. Then you have to get a little bit lucky if you're going to win and then continue to win. Location, though, is important. If we can stay on the West Coast and be in the West, it will have significant impact. I mean, imagine us going to Sacramento and then going to the Staples Center. It'd be like a home court advantage for us. Whether it be half the arena will be filled with Aztec fans. It would be huge. But maybe as important, who's in your bracket? Who do you play? How do you match up with them? And all those things factor in, and that's what makes it so exciting and interesting. And the whole world watches when March Madness starts.
And by the way, when you had your Fab Five at Michigan, when you guys were freshmen, they were a 6 seed. Got all the way to the championship game. So, like you say, Coach, I guess the most important thing is you want to have momentum going into the tournament, playing good basketball. You want to be healthy. I wanted to bring that up because with Mensa out right now, even Matt Mitchell said this after the big win on Saturday night. His concern still for this team is rebounding, something that obviously when you lose a quality big man like Mensa is going to suffer a little bit. When you look at this team right now and could say there's one area of concern, possibly, hard to say when you're undefeated, what would it be with this Aztec team?
Well, what we talked about when the season started is we might have too many guys and try to, find playing time for all of them. We whittled it down with AG and Nathan both out to where we don't have that same depth, and especially as you referenced, size. And when you get into the tournament and you get to that second and third rounds, you're going to play big teams. And we saw even in Utah State game when Yanni Wetzel got those 2 fouls and he has to come out, then we lack for depth at that big man spot. So I think health going into the tournament is a big piece to it. If you can get all your guys on the floor, you're going to have a better chance. And, I don't know about Nathan, whether we'll get him back or not, but I've watched him out there. He's doing more and more. He can't have any contact, but he's doing stuff that if and when it presents itself, I don't think he'll take him 2 weeks to get himself back into physical condition. So that's good, and all of us are hoping, every Aztec fan's hoping that we can get him back out on the floor. But you need your bodies.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It's true in sports as it is in life, so we wish you good health, Coach. We thank you for jumping on with us. It's always great catching up with you, and if Saturday night served as nothing else, it was a reminder of the greatness that you brought to this community that we all get to share as a result of which. So thank you again for all of that.
I appreciate that. Thank you, men, for having me on, and it's really fun to see a buzz and a positive atmosphere in the whole city when they start talking about Aztec basketball. It's really, really neat. So thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Coach.